It'll take a second because I forgot to hit go live, but we should be live here in a second. I just don't see it.
It says live 13 seconds at the top. I think we're live.
All right, we're live. We're officially live. Let me go ahead and mute this really quick. Sorry, you guys. For some reason, I hit the countdown and forgot to hit the go live button before I did that or while I did that. Either way, we're live now. Welcome to our Monday chat. We've got the usual suspects, me, Raven, and Seeker, but tonight's special guest is PlugMaster Ford. How you doing today, brother?
I'm doing good. I lost audio again like we did earlier, so I'm going to get out and come right back in if that's okay.
Okay, sounds good. PlugMaster Ford is...
it's back now.
Oh, it's back now? So we've had a little bit of technical difficulties, mainly from me, because I don't know why I don't always forget to hit the live button. But I want to thank PlugMaster Ford for hanging out with us for the next hour and obviously sharing maybe some of his adventures with us. Obviously, as everyone knows, as we go through this, you're more than welcome to ask questions. We'll do our best to answer the ones we can. And sometimes the answer is a little bit long and we may miss questions. So please forgive us for that. Just repost them when you can. That being said, I do want to thank Matt Poe. He did send a $2 super chat before the stream started. I want to make sure I thank him properly. Silver Seeker, the man with the plan. How's it going, brother? How you doing tonight?
I don't know what plan you're talking about besides excited to be here with you guys. I love getting together with you guys every 2 weeks. I've been hopping on Coin Cruise every once in a while. He does it every week for like 10-15 minutes. It's been a lot of fun. But nothing is better than hopping in with my man Rob and Raven.
Robin. I like that. You can be Batman then.
Robin. No, seriously, I always look forward to these. It's a lot of fun and glad to have PlugMaster Ford on. Now, I'll be honest, I just discovered PlugMaster Ford the other day because of Rob saying that he was our next guest, so I had to go catch up on a few videos. But very, very awesome guy and a very awesome channel, so I definitely recommend you guys check it out.
Now, I agree, and as always, everyone's channel links will be down below in the video description. If you close out your live chat, you can see the links. If you're not subscribed to anyone on the panel and you want to check out their content and make that decision, that'd be awesome. Ravenhawk Coins, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing amazing, man. How about yourself? Good to see everybody. And I look forward to these every other week and our new guests that we see. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what PlugMaster Ford has to say. He's already been a really entertaining guy to talk to before we even got into the show. So really excited. And guys, also make sure that in the audience to check out the R Cube cast, the after party podcast that we do for this show as well.
Nice. And then Jeff, PlugMaster Ford, brother, how's it been? I know, talk quickly, because you were posting every week on Mondays, and then you took on an adventure, and if you can let everyone know what's been going on in your world, that'd be awesome.
Well, first thing, I opened up a coin store, Patriots Gold and Silver in Springfield, Missouri, and you talk about getting lucky of when I purchased this shop. Because it's been crazy ever since. It's, with the election, with everything going on, and the economy, and people are just sinking tons into silver and gold. And so, that's been my focus right now. And Mike, the guy I hunt with, has also had a battle. He had a stroke, and then he had seizures after he got the vaccine. And so, we've had to nurse him along coming back, but we're back going at it. It's just, getting the time to get out and hunt every week like we used to, and get the films edited. That's the main thing I have problems with.
Yeah, the editing is always time consuming. Now, I do want to take the first question from John Schmidt. He says, for PlugMaster, how did Mama Bear not rip your head off while taking that cute photo? Does that ring a bell, PlugMaster?
Yeah. Mama Bear was actually tranquilized right at my feet. So that was we've started trapping in 2010. I have a lot of bears on my farm, and conservation allowed me to, run the traps and everything. And when I catch one, I would call them and they would come out. Well, after 2010 and 2011, I was out hiking. Just, I used to hike to get exercise. That's what I did for fun, and don't do it anymore. It must not be fun, but I was out hiking, and I was on a ledge, kind of a ledge. And so I had just gone through a bunch of sassafras and entered a clearing, and there was a tree with a hollowed out spot in the bottom. And all I could see was a nose sticking out. And it was this sow, and she huffed at me. And so I raised my hands and said, I see, and backed up, and talked to her as I walked back. And she stayed there. But what I noticed was her collar that we had collared her in 2010. Her collar was laying in front of the den, so it had come off of her. And whenever they were ready to do the den study, I had let them know previously that her collar had fallen off. And so I took them straight to it. And of course, someone had to hold the cubs after Mama was tranquilized, right?
Yeah, of course. Not me, though.
Yeah, getting between a mama bear and the cubs. Wow,
she was out. I wasn't worried.
That would be one of my it is one of my worst nightmares, obviously, because I don't care how cool or strong you think you are. That's a scary situation if you're not prepared for that situation as it happens.
Oh, so I got to tell you, my wife. Okay, so we start trapping in 2010, and honestly, bears change throughout the baiting series. The first week you never see a bear. The second week you might see a bear. The third week you are running bears off of every bait, and the fourth week you draw a gun and you're yelling at them to move so you can get them some more food. And so my wife, for Christmas, bought me the book Bear Attacks of the Century. I do not recommend that to anyone. It's gruesome. It's mostly survival stories too. And that's the cool thing about it, but just the people describing the crunching of their skulls and it's just,
that's not a list I would like to make.
That was my wife's way of saying, be careful.
Yeah.
Oof. That does not sound good at all.
No, I've done some really dumb things out there. So but I've learned.
I guess Frederick Romano wants me to tell you that he knows he plants your Wheaties. That's how you always beat Missouri Mike, I guess, right?
That's what Mikey thinks. Mikey thinks I got to watch him though. He's got, if you ever notice all the gear, he wears about 300 pounds of gear, and I always watch him. Make sure he's not sneaking those wheat pennies out on me.
So, PlugMaster, you said you had a shop in Springfield.
I'm
gonna have to stop by. Springfield's not close, but every time me and the family go to Branson, we pass through. So I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, swing through.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
open Tuesday through Fridays, and we're open 10 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. Banker's hour.
Now, having your shop now, do you get a lot of people locally that just pop in just to say hi to PlugMaster Ford because they watch your videos? I've had a few locally. I got to tell you, one of the guys local saw me do my first pours. And so he comes into the shop the next day and he goes, I want to get one of those pours that you did. And I said, oh, I didn't even bring them in. And so he comes back in again and says, do you have any of those pours? Well, I'd sold them all. They went real quick. And I told him, I said, give me a call before you come. Give me a call the day before. I'll go home and pour you one and I'll bring it in the next day. So this guy does, and he buys one and then he buys another, and I was pretty tickled. Then he comes in. This is probably about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and he's just grinning from ear to ear. And he said, "Did you see me on the news?" And I said, "No." And he whips out this paperwork. Him and his wife had won $1 million on a scratcher. Wow.
And
how lucky is that? That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was $1 million, and they did the one-time settlement, which was 680, and then after taxes, it was around 500, I think. So,
right.
But a great story about this guy. He works at the homeless shelter. He used to live in the homeless shelter, and so it's a great story. But anyway, he can buy more bars now.
So Brian Hopper's got a question. He tagged me, but I think he wants me to ask you, Plug. What do you all look for in a spot to do metal detecting? Like if you're going to, I know you do a lot of permissions, and I know Mikey gets a lot of them too, but what do you decide on to say, you know what, this is where I'm going to go try to look today?
Well, we've kind of got, we call it a system, but we've hit so many places anymore. It's we have a size town, a town of 5,000 to 3,000 people works best for us. And we like to go west and north, where there's older stuff, because honestly, where we live, it's not real old. And so we do a lot of traveling, but the thing we look for, we look at the demographics. And so we like to see, okay, in the 1870s, This town has 5,000 now. In the 1870s, there was 1,000. Okay, just for instance. And then I have this little formula. I say half and half again. So of the 1,000 people that live there, say 4 people to a house, you got 250. Cut that in half, you got 125. Cut that in half again, and you're looking at about 67 houses that we feel should be original to the time frame of 1870. There's no science to it. That's just a stupid formula I came up with, but it seems to be pretty accurate. And so that's what we do. We use, we use the Zillow app. We also, more than anything, we drive and we look for, old foundations. Some areas, if we go real far north, we look for the brick foundations. Around our area, we're looking for stone, the field stone foundations, because that's very indicative. That's not always 100%, because a lot of times they'll stucco over some of that old foundation and it won't even look. I mean, some of our best permissions didn't look old. We've dug 2 centers and just some incredible coins in houses that you would have said, that looks like a 60s house.
Wow.
But, you just never know. That's the beauty of metal detecting. You never know what's in the hole. So someone asked me one time if they came out with a metal detector that told you what you were going to dig, I bet you'd like that. And I said, no, I'd quit.
It wouldn't be as much treasure hunting anymore.
No, it'd take all the fun out of it.
Although the signals can pretty much tell you what you might get pretty close to the time.
Exactly, and I do like that aspect of it. I don't want to dig a bunch of trash all the time. So
although I've dug my fair share of trash with dreams of finding something better.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Silver Seeker, Tape Master said he enjoyed your video today, and I was busy, so I missed it. He said it was informative. Can you kind of talk about your video for today?
Sure. I did a video. There was a report that came out of ASEF Online, which is the Anti-Counterfeiting Education Foundation, and they worked with both the Secret Service and with the United States Border Protection Service to take over 40,000 silver coins with over $2 million of street value out of circulation by getting packages as they were coming through customs over just the course of only 8 weeks. Only 8 weeks, that much came through that they caught. Imagine how much got through that didn't get caught.
Wow.
But anyway, that's what the video was about today.
That sounds like a cool video. If somebody has it, one of my mods could put it in the chat. That'd be cool, because maybe someone missed it.
Oh, thanks, guys.
How about you, Raven? What's your newest released video? Anything? Any great finds? I know you had that rear speared bison nickel. How was that find?
That's the best one I found so far, and it was interesting. I got a little bit of trolling about, that's not the speared buffalo. And I said, well, it's still a variety of it. And that's the first one I found in a roll to even say, wow, it exists. Because, honestly, how many boxes do we look through? I looked through so many nickel boxes. I don't know the count anymore. And I know that I've looked at tens of thousands of those buffalo nickels themselves. That's the first one that I found. So, of course, I was super stoked, Well,
I've got 700 plus nickel boxes hunted and a whole bunch of customer wraps. And I have never found the speared bison variety, which is through the belly and the back. But I've also never found any of the other ones through the head or the rump. So I was excited. I geeked out when you sent the picture. And I'm surprised that everyone doesn't appreciate as much as I do even of the lesser varieties. It's still a variety found. It's very cool.
I never found anything like that. I mean, the thing about things like that is, like, the trolls control Raven all they want, but how many of them actually found anything like that? I mean, look how many boxes of nickels we've all been through. You know what I mean? Yeah. So come on, that's a fantastic find.
And it tells you this stuff's still out there. Like, I preach all the time. It's in the numbers. People wonder why Rob finds what he finds. It's because he looks through so many boxes. And when he gets a good box, he videotapes it. And I completely understand that system versus, let me show you all the boxes that I barely found something.
Well, plus the fact that the first 2 words of his 3-word channel are Rob Finds.
True.
Yeah, it's not Rob hopes for treasure.
Hopes for treasure.
I do
patiently awaits for it.
I do want to take a second though for PlugMaster Ford, because about 2.5 years ago, I was, maybe 3 years ago. It was before I started my channel. I was into metal detecting a lot more then, and I'm going to get back into it, and we can discuss them. And I know people are asking in the chat, are you ever going to go to metal detecting again? I've got a couple of things planned coming up, and it'll be a lot of fun. One of them is with Plug, but at the end of the day, 3.5 years ago, I guess it probably, well, it was 3 years, a little over 3 years ago, whenever it happened, I remember I was subscribed to your channel, or at least I was watching some of your videos. And I don't want to tell the story, but I'm going to give it my perspective a little bit, then you can kind of delve into it. And PlugMaster Ford had the dream find that any person metal detecting would want. Now, if my memory serves me correctly, he didn't actually first encounter this find. He was called by somebody who found it, who was more of a amateur at metal detecting, and said, hey, get out here and help me with this, because in a field where a barn, I believe, burned down, that couple of thousand silver coins were in that barn when it burned down. And I'll let PlugMaster tell it, but I'll put a link in the chat to video 1 of that 5 or 6 or 7 video series. But it was awesome. And Plug, just let us know how the call went, what you did, and how it all kind of transpired.
Well, Wes Stringer lives down in Arkansas. He and I got to be friends through our club and through my channel. And he's just a good guy. Love Wes to death. And so he texts me and says, having the best day ever. And I said, oh yeah, what are you finding? And so he sends me a picture of a Walking Liberty, a Franklin half, and I think a Washington quarter at that time. And so I call him and I go, what's going on? He goes, oh man, I just keep pulling them out of here. I said, are you finding any glass? And he said, yeah, I'm finding some glass. And now, mind you, he got this permission, and this is the funny thing to me about the story. So the guy that owns the place said, yeah, you can hunt my yard, but you really ought to go out back where the barn burned and they bulldozed it. And had he said that to me, I would have said, thank you, but no, I'm going to go somewhere else. Last thing I want are nails and burnt up soil and everything else, because that affects your metal detector. But Wes was relatively new. And he goes out there and it was terrible to get a signal, but he got one. He popped out a Washington quarter, which was a first timer for him. The only thing he'd ever found was a mercury dime, silver wise. And so he keeps texting me and I'm calling him, and he keeps getting better and better, and he ends the day with a peace dollar. And so all total that first day, I think he dug 137 silver coins. And now, mind you, he did that with his hand trowel, and it was about a 2 foot by 1 foot wide trench, probably about 18 inches deep. And so he calls me that night and he goes, man, I just can't believe it. And so he sits there a bit and he goes, what are you doing next Friday or next Saturday? And I said, well, I'm cleaning my schedule so I can get down there.
Yeah.
So we go down there, and that next day we dig, I think we dug 200 even silver coins. And mind you, most of these are $50. And so then the next time we went, we dug 207. And then we decided, I wonder if we could bring in a mini excavator. And so Wes talked to the homeowner, and it was a dream situation, because the homeowner, the area, it was his backyard, but it was outside the fence, and it was full of crabgrass, and he hated crabgrass. And so we pretty much said we can take care of it. So we went in with this mini excavator, and I can't even remember how many coins we dug that one day, 900 or something, or 700 and something. It was incredible. And anyway, we just kept going and kept going. Wound up with, I think, 1,927 silver coins, but over 2,000 coins total. And there's still some there. Wes went the other day and found a quarter. So we know there's still stuff there. But one thing we learned through the serious heat that burned this building down, coupled with all the iron in the building, it does something that causes like an electromagnetic something to the soil. And that's what made it so hard. I had the Equinox in when we had taken the excavator, and we dug really deep, and you could see a $50 sticking out of the sidewall. And I almost had to touch it with that machine just to get it to go off. And I was trying to explain to people how mineralized the soil was. So most of what we did was by hand with pinpointers and basically with our eyes. So, but I did dig a Roosevelt at 4.5 feet. That's the deepest target I've ever dug.
4.5.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Roosevelt dime.
Wow.
That is cool.
But what happened? We don't know where it was buried. The guy who buried all of this, he's passed away now, and his son had passed away. And so actually, one of the grandkids was at the guy's house one of the nights we were there, and so he took one of the big buckets in to show him. And of course, she was like, "Oh, I think we just lost that bucket." But anyway, he came back out, and I said, "What did he say?" And he said, "Well, he said he wasn't surprised that you found some, but he wasn't surprised at how many you found." And so, but he was a known coin barrier. He didn't trust banks. He lived through the Depression. That building was built in 1926. And so it had some age to it. It was 3-story. It also had a full basement, which I think was added later. The coins, we think, were buried under the back porch, just from all the stories we've heard. And so when it fell in and they came in and dozed, it pushed a lot of it down into what would have been the basement. That's where we found the bulk of it. And there's a chance it could have been hidden in a wall in the basement too. We just don't know.
So if I recall, the owner didn't really want much of the coins, if any, right? Right.
No, Wes gave him a Franklin $50 that first night. And honestly, he was, like I said, it was a dream scenario. He was a huge believer in finders keepers. And, we found it. We got to keep it. Now, we always offered him pizza and everything else. I mean, we camped out at this place for 6 weeks in a row. And so, but he was super cool. You couldn't have asked for a nicer permission. Just the scenario was to die for. Yeah.
Very cool. Anyway, if you guys haven't watched that series, I do recommend it. I mean, obviously he's given you the trailer so you know what's going on. And it does. I will agree that, part 3, part 4, you're like, after you've already seen 1,000 coins dug up, you're like, okay, what's the take? But it is definitely in the beginning, the excitement in your intro of the first video. You're like, listen, guys, I got to tell you this. And I thought you did a heck of a job editing out. Like, I was trying to figure out where the heck you were. I was like, I'm going out there next week, and that's it.
Well, and that's something Wes said. Like, on the later videos, he'd look at me and go, "You need a video." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I forgot." It got to be, and honestly, towards the end, it got to be a job. It really did. The first 3 times we did it was so fun. But then after that, it was like, okay, now we're just here to complete it. We found everything. We found Morgans, peace dollars, halves, and it just, we were to the point of, let's get this done, which I know sounds kind of shallow, but it's not as easy. We were I'm old, and we were shoveling lots of wood.
That's awesome.
That's a great story.
All right. Well, we definitely recommend checking that out. Seeker.
Yo.
What's happening with gold and silver, man? Give us some insight here. What do we need to know?
There's really no insight to give. I'll be honest with you. It's been staying pretty steady in that 27 to 28 range,
which is nice.
Yeah, it took a dive on a jobs report and then went right back up when the full details of the jobs report came out. And other than that, it's pretty much stayed where it's been. I don't know. I think we're going to see some decent amount of inflation here coming in the next 5-6 years, maybe 4 to 6, maybe 5 to 10.
That's good. Yeah, with all the printing of money, I wouldn't be surprised that if we don't see a huge. It's funny, we talked about it on the previous one, but the inflation charts since the silver and gold standards, or the gold standard, stopped, and even since they stopped putting silver into coins in 64, you look at the inflation numbers, and now what will it look like 2019 or 2020 and beyond again? Is it gonna double, triple, quadruple again? And I really liked Seeker's analogy in one of the videos where he said, will silver hit $100? Probably not, but $100 will catch silver. And you might want to spend a few minutes on that, Seeker, because I love that video. If you haven't watched that video, you guys got to check it out for sure.
Well, thank you for one. And that's just the point. I don't think, let's just look at it this way. And I haven't even said this specifically in a video yet, because I get a lot of hate for this, especially from the Wall Street silver crowd, because they're all want to be millionaires. And not all of them. And I'm not knocking Wall Street silver. I think Wall Street silver does a fantastic job of getting people into silver stacking, where I think everyone should be right now. But I worry about people getting into it for the wrong reason. I don't want people, they can do whatever they want, but I don't think people should be getting into silver with the intent of it being the next GameStop or the next AMC or the next Bitcoin, because that's not what silver's about, and that's probably not going to happen. But what I mean by silver will never hit 100, but 100 will hit silver is if you look at, I mean, you can talk about what silver's worth today versus what it was even 70 years ago. It's really not much different. You can get a little bit more gas, you can get a little bit more groceries, you can get a little bit more of stuff with silver, but it's not even really done more than just doubling in 100 years. So there's really no history to show that silver's ever going to just go up to $100 in today's value. That being said, the value of the dollar could actually drop to a point to where silver becomes a $100 bill. It's just that $100 bill is not going to be worth what it is today when that happens. And so, in other words, your silver will still buy you your 2 gallons of gas in 10 years, but the $100 bill probably won't. That's what I'm getting at. So, yeah, you're not going to become a millionaire getting stacking silver. Well, you might, but it won't be the millionaire you think you're thinking you're going to be.
Yeah,
you're going to be a Zimbabwe millionaire. So.
Zimbabwe dollars. Come on, see that? Actually, they're worth more than they were back when again.
Hey, listen. Now, granted, keep in mind that the economy in the U.S. is way different than like Zimbabwe. Okay, but if you look at Zimbabwe's in Zimbabwe in the 80s, like mid 80s Zimbabwe dollar, it was like $1.50 Zimbabwe to $1 U.S. So it was only worth Zimbabwe dollar was worth about 66% of what the U.S. dollar was in the 80s. And now, in 2006, they were printing $100 trillion bills that you may as well have wiped with. See my point?
Yep.
So if let's just say you lived in Zimbabwe and you had a little bit of money and you shoved it under your mattress, it was worth nothing. But if you used that money to buy silver, your silver was still worth the same actually more buying power down there than it was the day you bought it. Whereas if you just kept the money under the mattress, it became fire starter.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
what about you, PlugMaster? Do you stack a lot?
I got a lot in my shop.
I know you. Well, you have a coin shop, so I'm sure you have, but I mean, personal. Does stuff come in the shop that you're like, this is not going on the shelves. This is mine.
Oh yeah. When I first bought the shop, I did it a lot. I have been a stacker for a long time. My wife and I, when we were early married, we flipped a bunch of houses, and so we had a lot of cash. We both knew that, if we kept it in cash, we were going to spend it. And so I started buying silver, mainly silver. And then I realized after a while that, you know what, this gets really heavy. And if we ever need to get up and go, it's probably going to have to stay. So we started converting to gold. And it got to a point where I almost cashed the silver in just because, we had a good increase from when I originally bought it, and it would have been a nice profit, but there was a tariff dropped by one of our presidents, and it kind of killed the market a little bit. And so when that happened, I just hung on to it. And fast forward to last year when I had the opportunity to buy this shop, and I was able to purchase it and inventory it with just the inventory that we had at the house, and my partner same way. And so we had enough to buy this shop and inventory it. And then I kind of felt bad because I'm sitting here going, oh, okay, all that cool stuff that I, bought over the years, I just sold, and I would go, okay, there's that guy right there. He buys like me. That guy, buys the opposite of me. And so it's just, it has grown and grown and grown. And so we're to the point now that, we've got a really good inventory, and I keep all my stuff in a vault at the shop now.
Yeah.
But I do, I love the Canadian Mint because they make some cool stuff. And I have one item that came in was it was a maple leaf, but on the back, instead of the maple leaf, it had the Superman logo. I kept that one. Yep. I kept a Thor silver round. I've got a lot of gold that, I kind of have this infatuation with gold coins. So it's hard, if it's anything beyond the normal, it's got a little place in my mini safe inside my big vault.
Yeah.
And so, I try not to, though. I'm a people pleaser, and so if someone comes in looking for something and I put it back, I guess I got one I could sell you. And so
Yeah.
I really had to work hard not to get attached to anything. So
that would be my biggest problem is if I ever thought about doing a coin shop, I don't know. It's like I would be selling the kids. It's like, I don't know. It'd be hard for me to do that.
well, and honestly, in my shop, I basically handle the bullion side, and then I do consignment for the numismatic stuff, the rare collectibles. I still, will get them from time to time, just purchases, but that side is where the guys have the multiple $1,000 coins, which I love to look at. And one thing honestly, something I was really never into, but it has captivated me, are the old paper bills, the horse blankets, all those old notes are just incredible to me. And, we had the other day a South African note, a Hawaii note, all those came in and through the shop. And so, things like that. Currency is cool. I enjoy that. Some of it was just absolutely beautiful. And I didn't realize, in a lot of places, every small town, every bank had their own note, their national bank note. And that's really cool. We got a small town of Sarcoxie, Missouri, down the road from us here. And that was one of the first notes I saw, the Bank of Sarcoxie. And I was like, what? Okay.
Yeah, there's some very small
towns that pretty thin too.
It's crazy how much of those banknotes are reprints, and people think they've got some old notes, though. You know what I mean? They've copied one serial number a bazillion times and made it into something that they just hand out as fun money, but it's not really real money, or it never was. Raven, you're the expert, or at least a lot more than I am on bills. If you were, what are, maybe kind of a difficult question, but if I was somebody who loved the look of horse blanket bills, what are some more of the affordable ones that you would recommend they go out and get, or must-haves for a collection of horse blanket bills?
Well, some of the most beautiful ones. I mean, the problem is if you want to get some of the really beautiful ones, they're top dollar. The chief on the $5 bill, that one in really bad condition is still $1,000. I mean, in what I would consider kind of poor condition. One of the best entry level ones is like the 19. Here, I'll show you. Give me 1 second.
Yep, no worries. Hey, real quick plug. I saw the question. Mikey's doing better, I guess, for what the news is.
He is. He's doing better. His speech, is probably as good as it's going to get. He does really good. They told him as long as he's just talking about, normal, what I call shallow things, metal detecting, he doesn't have many troubles with his speech. But whenever he goes into talking about something a little more deep, whatever happened in his brain, that's when he gets hung up a little bit. So
yeah, it's nice to know he's doing better. He looked a lot more in better spirits the last video I saw him with you, for sure.
Yeah.
Although he can't beat you in the Wheaties that are planted. All right, yeah. Raven.
So the one with the black eagle, it's a little bit bigger.
Yep.
You can usually find those in decent condition, early 1900s, and for about $100, find a really nice example to have, in your collection and do well. I thought I had one here to show everybody, but it's in a different spot, and it would take a little while to go dig it up. But honestly, there's so much out there that's just gorgeous in the old school bills and the filigree that they did on them, and they don't do that anymore. Every bill that basically PlugMaster mentioned are bills that are just unbelievable, especially like the educational note. That's one of the nicest ones out there. The shin splints, right there. That one that Seeker's got on the screen is one of the better ones.
I like that picture much better, Seeker.
It looks good on you.
Yeah, it looks good on you.
But the beauty is because there's a lot of people that overlook currency, you can get bills that are worth quite a bit for a really good bargain. A lot of times, they just honestly either one, they don't know what they have, or two, they've had it for so long. That you do get a great deal. Like I got a killer deal on the South African, war issue note, almost uncirculated condition for like $60. The guy really didn't know what he had.
Yeah.
You know?
Nice.
And so it's just mind-boggling. Or my favorite is fractional currency. If you really want something cool that's kind of a niche and you can do really well, is the little tiny, 10-cent, 50-cent, 25-cent nickel fractional currencies. They do really well. That $2 bill is amazing.
That $2 bill is absolutely stunning. Like someone wrote in the chat, works of art.
Mm-hmm.
Raymond, Shane Kennedy asked, what is a horse blanket bill? Can you kind of tell them why they're called that?
They're called a horse blanket because, okay, so you have your regular size bill, okay? And I'll bust one out for you right here. So that's my number 48. I still have that thing.
Nice.
This is a regular size bill, and a horse blanket bill would be, about yay much bigger. They wouldn't fit in a traditional wallet. You'd have to carry what they would call, a big billfold. I mean, the things that if you saw back in the day, these guys had these things that looked like almost going to your restaurant and your bill comes into that big black thing. They would have that. They'd have to have a really big wallet. So then they finally made the standard size that we have today that allows you to carry more money on your person is what that's about.
Was that 28 or 34 or whatever when they switched?
It was 28 was like the last year of I think that's like the transitional year still, if I remember correctly, where you can still find some blankets, but still find smaller stuff being produced. Yeah. And to anything that is older than like 1920 something, all the artwork in it is just amazing. I mean, just mind blowing. You have the wood chopper bill, the educational note, the chief on the $5 bill, the buffalo one. That one is just mind blowing. If you get a really good one of that buffalo bill, you can sit there and look at the artwork in it for hours, and just it's mind boggling how much work that they put into it. And then you look at today's notes and it's like, it looks like Monopoly money.
Yeah.
But there's still good money in that too, doing searches for serial numbers and fancy notes. Rob will tell you, like that $100 bill right now that I pulled out, that thing's probably worth a good, $600-700. That's one of my favorite right there. The bison.
The bison. Look at that. That's beautiful.
And normally the reverses had the better, extra artwork too.
Sure. Yeah.
Really quick. Plug one more time. Can you plug your coin shop, where it's located, and what is its name again?
The name of my coin shop is Patriots Gold and Silver, and we are located at 1907 South Glenstone, and that's in Suite B as in boy, and that's in Springfield, Missouri. The number for the shop is 417-300-5800. And I'll be in there tomorrow. So
nice.
And we don't have an online presence yet. I'll be honest with you. That was our number one goal when we opened the shop. But we've been so busy, I really don't have time to do an online. I've had a few of my subscribers email me and order stuff, mainly, Silver Eagles, because I try to beat a lot of the online stores. And so when I first bought the shop, the guy I bought the shop from said, okay, here's the percentages I work on for gold. Here's the percentages I work on for silver. And I said, okay. And I went in a week early to work with him. And what I noticed were, 2 or 3 customers leaving without purchasing anything after he'd quoted them a price. And that concerned me. And so my first week when he wasn't there, I just kind of, I was like, okay, well, math was never my strongest suit anyway. So doing these percentages and so I had a guy come in and he asked me, I had a gold buffalo, and he asked me how much it was. And I told him, I said, I think it's $18.49 at the time. And he goes, well, Atmex has it for $18.40. And I said, well, now mine's $18.35. And he bought it.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, I figured this out. That's a lot easier than math. I just go online, see where they're at, and I make sure I beat them. And, sometimes I can't. Atmex runs specials, especially on gold. And I could still beat them, but I'd make $2 a coin, and it's not worth carrying that much money to make $2 a coin. So, that's pretty much my philosophy. And I tell my customers all the time, if you buy it from somewhere else, bring it in. Well, if it's a known, reputable dealer, that's fine. But a lot of them buy them on eBay, and I just tell them, I say, bring it in, I'll test it because I have all the testing equipment. And that's one thing that's been really eye-opening to us lately is how good China is getting at the fakes. And the magnet is no longer the go-to anymore because we've had plenty of fake coins that magnet would not stick to. They would weigh right, but they had 0 silver in them. So I don't know what they're using, but it's out there and they're doing it.
So they figured out the alloy that'll react the right way. That is
correct.
Man, that's scary. That's scary. That's one of the reasons if I do buy online or eBay, I stick to United States dealers strictly, and ones that have really good ratings, kind of like Rob there. Rob's got good ratings.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm 100% positive feedback at my eBay store. Okay.
Heck yeah.
And honestly, I mean, and of course, yeah, anytime you have a business, you realize there are people out there that just aren't all there. And I had this guy come in and he said, wonder if you could test this 1895 Morgan dollar for me. And I said, well, sure. And so I take it over there and I put it on my tester and it just flatlines. There's not a lick of silver in it. And I looked at him. I said, where'd you get this? And he said, got it on eBay. I bought 2 whole sets. And I said, complete sets? And he said, yeah. I said, every date, every mint? He said, yep. I said, how much you get? He goes, $6 a piece. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah.
$6 a piece.
$6 a piece. And he goes, well, that's okay. I know I can get my money back. And I was like, well, you better get quick because those shops that sell stuff like that get in and get out quick. So,
wow.
I don't know if he ever did, but yeah, you can't buy a Morgan silver dollar for $6.
No.
Did you see my gold score I poured for teacher? PlugMaster?
No.
You have to check it out. I did a gold pouring video. Teacher was asking.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I told you that one customer of mine that had provided me all those ounces of 24 karat pure came back in.
Yep.
I got another 11 ounces to pour.
Jeez, must be fun.
Wow.
I wish I could play with that much gold, but I'd have to be Silver Seeker or you, I guess.
Rob,
Seeker.
When Rob did that video, I was nervous for him. I was like, "Oh my God, that's a lot of gold."
If you watch while I'm pouring, I was with this.
Oh yeah.
Seeker, maybe you have a little experience. I know you've dealt with Coin Crew quite a bit and other dealers. Is there a better machine nowadays? And we can ask Plug as well. Is the Sigma still the #1 usable, affordable gold and silver tester for coinage and other things, or is there something else that's probably more utilized in shops nowadays?
Affordable, yes. Obviously, an XRF scanner is your best bet, but those are like 20 grand. I don't like this. I don't like the regular Sigma. I know people get on me all the time for that. I just don't like it.
Is that the one with the little probe attachment?
Well, they both have probe attachments, but the Sigma Pro I really, really like because it can penetrate layers. Whereas the original Sigma, if you got a good plating on it, it can get fooled, and that's what I don't like about it. Whereas the Pro will actually go through the metal. So I'm a big fan of the Sigma Pro. I'm not a big fan of the regular Sigma. But yeah, as far as affordability, there's really nothing better than the Sigma Pro.
What is the Sigma Pro at nowadays?
All right, so affordability is all relative. Keep that in mind.
I know Silver Seeker saying affordability is it's something different.
Well, so compared to a $20,000 XRF scanner, it's affordable. They're like $1,500. But compared to a $20,000 XRF scanner, that's affordable. So.
Well, and I will tell you this. My Sigma Pro has caught 3 fake gold coins that normally a person would have bought. So it's worth its weight in gold to me.
Oh yeah, no. I absolutely love the Sigma Pro. I'm a huge fan. I just don't like the small OG one, if you'll want to call it the OG one.
Right.
So 100%.
That's crazy. If it just saves you, like you said, a couple of one gold coin saved that you didn't buy, you already paid for a Sigma Pro.
Right.
Yes.
And I had a guy brought in 5 Krugerrands and one of them was fake.
He probably didn't even know it was fake himself.
He didn't.
Now, the beautiful thing about gold Krugerrands is I've never seen one that can fool an audio test. So those are very easily audio testable. But yes, I mean, like you said, if it saves you one fake coin, you're good to go. I mean, it paid for itself.
If you're a person at home and you decided, you know what, you're watching this live stream or you're watching something else, and you're like, man, you know what, I have gotten a couple of good deals on some Morgans or some Krugerrands or whatever. Is there some do-it-yourself tips to check authenticity right now? I know there are some, but Seeker, what would you recommend someone doing? They don't have a Sigma Pro. They don't have a Sigma. They have very limited things. What are some basic things what are the top 3 things you would do first if you wanted to check that out to see if you had at least it passed these tests?
Well, if it's just a regular bullion coin, or if it's just a Cole silver dollar or just a common date one, you could always scratch test it. But for things like Morgan silver dollars and silver eagles and gold Krugerrands and even silver Krugerrands and the snap that's flying in front of me, they all have specific diameters. They all have specific thickness. There's no way you can make a fake Krugerrand that's going to have the exact same thickness and exact same diameter and be the exact same weight, because of, gold has a certain density that's not matched. The closest I think you can get is tungsten, but even tungsten isn't perfect. That being said, even if you get it stupid close with tungsten, it doesn't sound the same. So there are audio tests that you can download on phones and stuff that for specific items, for Morgans and silver eagles and Krugerrands and things, work. It just really sucks for 10-ounce bars, 1-ounce bars, generic rounds, because those things don't have exact diameters. They don't have exact thickness. So you can get a bar that's a little bit thinner and is bigger. You can get a bar that's thicker and is smaller. You can get rounds that are 40 millimeters. You can get rounds that are 38 millimeters and thick. You know what I'm saying? And so for generic stuff, the sound test is horrible, because there's just no way to know. You can get a pair of calipers and at least get close. But my point is it's not going to be as accurate as it would be for a silver eagle. At that point, you would want to get a scale, a magnet. You can do the density test. There's a bunch of tests that you can do at home. But to be honest with you, if you're just really not sure, if you're just not comfortable, just take it into a dealer, find a local coin shop, and take it in and have them look at it. So
yeah, it's good advice. I always forget about the convenience nowadays of our smartphones. You can download apps and then give it the ping test, and it will tell you. I mean, obviously, it's all in your user input's going to have somewhat to do with it if you're not tapping it right, but it gives you instructions in a lot of the apps. So
right, but again, that's just good on things that are specific densities, and you know what I'm saying?
Correct. Yeah, I think like you said, if you got the diameter, if the diameter matches up, the weight matches up, and the sound matches up on some things, obviously that you would probably likely buy from an online seller, you're probably pretty decent. But at the end of the day, like he said, go to an LCS and you can develop a relationship with them and talk to them and see what else they got there and have them help you out at the same time.
Right. And the thing is there's a lot to be said for peace of mind. And if someone's new to stacking and they just aren't comfortable or aren't sure, it doesn't matter how many tests you run. If you're new to this, you're not going to feel comfortable. You'll be like, oh, well, maybe even if it passes the test, you'll be like, oh, well, maybe I tested it wrong. Maybe I did something wrong. You're just not going to be comfortable. So just have it checked out. It'll make you feel better. And maybe they can give you some pointers as well. When they're showing you if it's real or fake, they can give you some things to look for that they do as well.
Yeah.
Neodymium magnet, yes. It's also really good for magnet fishing. Magnet fishing.
It is good for magnet fishing.
But yes, neodymium magnets are really good. The problem with neodymium magnets is that this all goes back to how skilled or seasoned you are, because silver is not magnetic, but it's diamagnetic, which means if you take a silver eagle and you put it on your table and then you wave a really strong magnet, like a neodymium magnet over it, it will move. It will move with the magnetism. It won't stick to it, but without touching that coin, you can move it with a magnet. Copper does the same thing. It doesn't do it the exact same way. It's not quite as strong, but that's how the slide test works, by the way. But if you aren't sure, you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, it could be copper or silver. You have no clue. You know what I mean? So Scraping at Zilla. I just meant you can get you can buy a silver and gold testing kit on Amazon for like $40-$50. It comes with little acid jars. It's a mixture of nitric and muriatic acids, and there's different strengths for the different carats. So like 10 carat, 14 carat, 18 carat all has a different strength. So for example, if you have 14 karat gold, it won't pass the 18 karat test, but it will pass the 14. And then it works for silver as well, because if you take that 18 karat acid, at least the ones that they sell on Amazon, and you put it on silver, if it is silver, to turn like a powder blue. And if it's not silver, to either stay like nothing's on it, like it's a drop of water, or to just be eaten up completely. So that's what I meant by a scratch test.
Will 40%ers and some of the Canadian 50% silver coins also react to the neodymium magnet as well?
Yeah, because they're copper. They're silver and copper. So yes.
Yeah, just reading the question. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got about 10 minutes left of the stream. So since we have 188 people watching, if there's any questions that maybe Raven, Seeker, Plug, or myself can answer or collectively answer, we can have them posted in the chat, and I'll try to catch them. Otherwise, we have 10 minutes left. That being said, while we're waiting for any questions, we'll burn around the horn. Raven, anything you want to discuss that maybe we haven't covered that's been on your mind since the last 2 weeks?
Pretty excited at the possibilities. I still haven't gotten signed off yet. I really want to go to Grove. I got the fingers crossed, and like you said, it's way better outlook than it was, even 10 days ago. I'm hoping to do that. I got some cool things happening, as far as equipment for my channel and whatnot. Going to get another webcam so people can see Peppa and my ugly face once in a while. But really just kind of excited for what the future holds, to be honest. We got a lot of stuff on our plates, all of us, and one of the things that would be cool is to be able to do a live stream show and podcast from there if we're able to. I'll know here, in the next couple days if I'll get the go ahead, but I'm keeping the fingers crossed. So, for those people that are going out to Grove, matter of fact, I'm curious in chat who all is going to Grove. I saw a teacher said he's definitely going.
And for those on the panel, Plug, there's a coin show in Grove, Oklahoma in 18 days from now, 19 days from now. Myself and Seeker will have a booth there. We're trying to get Raven to share the booth with us. We're going to meet a lot of the people out there and have a good time. And I don't know how close you are to Grove, Oklahoma.
Not super far.
So if you on June 25th, 26th, 27th, if there's a day you and I can text over and you want to come out there, shake hands, that'd be kind of cool to see you there.
I'll be passing Springfield on the way to Grove, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'll be passing Springfield on the way to Grove. So
So it'd be cool if it's within a couple hours or whatever, and you want to come by and hang out for a minute. That'd be cool. You know what I mean? People can meet you as well there.
I think it's an hour and a half. It's about an hour and a half from you, maybe 2.
Yeah, from Springfield.
Yep. Yeah. No, actually, it's funny. I'll be on my way there Thursday morning, the 24th. And so I don't know, depending on the time, if maybe if it's in time for your shop to be open, I'll stop in because I don't know exactly what time I'm leaving. I may be past Springfield by the time you open.
I'm in there pretty early, so holler at me.
Will do.
Do check.
What's your favorite single find digging of all time, PlugMaster?
My favorite what?
Favorite metal detecting find of all time. Not the hoard, but like your favorite single find.
Most people laugh when I say what it was. It was my first 1800s dog tax license. It was 1898 and it was in Springfield, Missouri. And I don't know why that's always been my favorite. And I found a lot of cool stuff. I found Civil War belt plates and breastplates and, I found a lot of cool stuff, but for some reason, I don't know why. I mean, I've always been an animal lover. That acorn shape of those 1800s, I found 2 of them now and some early 1900s too, but that's always, to me, that's just a killer find. I mean, it's something I desire. I also love Tootsie toys. I have a huge collection of Tootsie toys. They all
like 4 shelves now. Is it like 4 shelves now? At one point it was 2 shelves. I think it's up to 4 shelves or something.
Yeah, it's a lot. And that's not all of them. There's bits and pieces scattered throughout my house. It's funny because of course, I enjoy toys. I'm a kid at heart. And I sat there one day and I watched my son, who at the time was like 5, and I looked down and he had 3 complete huge tubs full of Hot Wheels. And I realized at that moment that I'd never bought him a Hot Wheel. Every one of them was Doug. And
That's awesome.
I thought, oh, that's pretty cool there, you know?
Hey, wait. Oh, sorry. I thought you were.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. No, I was just gonna say, can you fill me in? Did you say dog tax? Like
Yeah,
TAX?
Yeah, back in the day, you didn't just have to have a dog license, you had to pay a dog tax.
Wow.
And so,
okay.
Yeah. And so,
learn something new every day.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't free, you know, so they taxed you. They've always been taxing us, even the dogs.
Well, I know that. Trust me, you can't get away from taxes, but that's funny.
yeah, the dog tax. And what was really cool, I always wondered if they ever had them. I think it was early last year, I dug a cat tax, which I always joked that I didn't know they actually did have them, but I dug a cat tax tag one time.
Okay. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But did they have a rat tax? I want to know if you had a pet rat, did you have to pay a tax for that as well?
If they knew about it, probably so.
Probably so.
Yeah. You didn't get the cool tag though.
Now, when they found out you were paying your taxes, did they then tax the tax that you were paying?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
and you got a little tax tag for it. So, but no, I have people ask me that all the time, and I don't know why, but that dog tax, that to me is one of the coolest finds.
That is interesting.
I don't know why. It's because it's something you wouldn't think about, and it's so old, and I don't know. That's one of my coolest finds.
No, I totally get that. That's hilarious.
Tony said you had to pay taxes for every door in your house as well, so you had to be careful how many doors you had up.
Wow.
I think that might be a little sarcasm, but either way, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaker, anything we're missing since for tonight that you wanted to throw out there? The podcast. Can you talk about that for a second?
Sure. I want to apologize. It is my fault. It totally slipped my mind. The podcast did not launch on time. Our last episode, it did launch within it was like a couple days late, and that's my fault. So my apologies. Other than that, though, we will get this episode launched on time. It slipped my mind, and you know what, Rob? It was funny. I didn't even know that I didn't upload it until I was on my Saturday stream the Saturday after, and someone's like, "So where's the podcast at?" And I'm like,
You were plugging it yourself, and then it was like, it's not even there, Seeker. Nice try.
No, I wasn't plugging it. Someone brought it up to me. We do have people that look forward to it. So he literally said in the chat, he said, where's the podcast at? And I'm like, yeah, we recorded it. I just forgot to upload it.
Yep.
We need info on how to find a podcast that's Copper Owl Coins. Can we get I'll go ahead and type the website out. If you could pin it, Rob.
I can pin it.
I'm going to type that out right now.
Plug anything you wanted to discuss that maybe we haven't asked you, or just in general want to say. Not your closing thoughts yet, but just anything that you wanted to say.
Well, that's something I always talk about with metal detecting, and so many people are scared to seek permission, and that's all we do. We're door knockers. We don't hunt parks, which I know a lot of people hunt parks. There's nothing wrong with it. There's some killer finds come out of parks. But I always, emphasize to people, don't be scared. It's nothing personal. In fact, I have a video on my channel called How to Increase Your Metal Detecting Permissions. And I sit there and I basically talk about what I go through, what I think works, what I think doesn't work. We've done it for a lot of years, and we've kind of got it down, and we have good success. But I always tell people, have confidence going in. That's the number one thing. And we generally, if someone says no, we're kind of surprised, just because, we get a lot of yeses. And so that's one thing I always tell people, get out, don't be scared. It's nothing personal if they say no. I mean, heck, if you came to my yard, I'd say no. I don't want you digging in my yard. But anyway, that's, a lot of people will grant you permission. a lot of people are really curious, especially if they live in an old house, on what might be buried in their yard. So,
Do you have you ever gotten permission from like commercial properties that like businesses that went under, things like that?
we've gotten we've hunted, and honestly, the closer you get to the commercial part of town, the more junk you get.
Right.
We've hunted old train depots and old commercial lots where there used to be things, and I hate to say this, but the work that is involved of digging so much trash to possibly dig an Indian head penny, sometimes it outweighs me being an Indian head penny.
The reason I ask is there's like multiple actually flea markets that have closed up in the last 10 or 20 years, and they 40, 50 years of people setting up outside. Now all of a sudden it's just a desolate lot. Like
Oh, yeah.
I know there's going to be a ton of trash, but
Now that would be something that I would undertake. Now you're going to find a lot of modern clad, but you're going to find a lot of wheats, and you're going to find a lot, probably a lot of silver. I hunted an old drive-in that closed down in my small town, and
one of them used to be a drive-in, which is funny. It was a drive-in that turned into a flea market.
Oh yeah,
that's what they did. That's a lot of them did that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I dug in one day. I dug $15 worth of quarters because they had games, video games inside.
Sure.
And I dug a sterling bracelet and everything. But when I went back to where parents would have been, it was all gravel. And so I got some signals, which I would have bet you money just because of the depth, that were probably silver coins. But it was just, it was hard packed gravel for years and years and years. And I don't know, call me spoiled, but I didn't need them.
Now, we had a question about fines. I think Kevin Speaks asked. He asked, and I know the answer, or at least I think I do, but I'll let Plug answer it. He asked, when you get permission, do you offer up that you will share the fines with them? How do you handle that? Like, if nothing is said, how do you handle it?
Oh, if nothing is said, I'm hunting, I'm finding, I'm keeping.
Yeah, exactly. So, Kevin, I would not offer to split them out.
I never offered. If you go with that mentality, they're going to read that from you as well. I know a guy who has that mentality. He's scared to death. He feels like he's stealing from them. And my whole opinion is, well, I came to him. I told him who I was. I told him what I like to do. And I'm a collector. Can I hunt your yard? And if they say yes, that means that, now if they ask me, hey, what happens if you find something good? And I always tell them this. I go, listen, if I find anything gold, you can have it. Let me take plenty of pictures. Let me get good video of it. You can have it. And they're all like, oh, okay. And I'm for real on that. What am I going to do with another gold ring? Well, now I'll cash it in because I have a gold and silver shop. But before that, and I do. I've got 13 gold rings that I found over the years, most of them in creeks and water and beaches. I've had some yard finds, mostly sidewalk strip finds, which is kind of weird. But I think, they get in a fight driving down. She goes, "I'm done with you," and throws it out the window. That's what I envision anyway. So yeah. But we find quite a few. If we find a wedding ring, it seems to be in the sidewalk strip, which is open game anyway. But I've had a couple people that said, you can hunt my yard if I get to keep everything, and I say okay. About 15 minutes in, I'm putting all the trash on their porch, and after a while they go, just forget it. You guys just hunt. I don't want any of it. And so I'll put a couple coins up there. Here's a couple of modern coins. Here's this Bud Light can you lost a long time ago, and here's a car key from the people before you. And once you get a pile going up there, they'll change their mind pretty quick because I always love that meme of what I think I do, what other people think I do, and what I actually do, which is dig a bunch of trash. So.
Yeah,
right.
So. We are at 8:04, and we are only slated for an hour. We've had good conversation, so obviously we didn't want to cut it short of any discussion. I know I've missed some questions in the chat. We did our best to answer as much as we could. As a reminder, every 2 weeks we have these on either my channel, Seeker, or Ravenhawk's channel. So if there's ever anything that pops in your mind over the next couple of weeks, and you want to ask questions that aren't answered in the comment section of our videos or in any of our community tab posts, things like that, then just try to bring it to the discussion, and we'll do our best as well. That being said, I think in 2 weeks we're going to be on Ravenhawk's channel.
No, it should be
Seekers.
I know. I just wanted to see how Seeker react.
No, that's cool.
In 2 weeks we'll be on Silver Seeker's channel, but we'll get to that in a second. We're going to say some goodbyes. I personally, first and foremost, want to thank PlugMaster Ford. I know with getting a video out and the Patriots shop you have going, and all the things going on in your personal life that you could spend an hour with us, man. I want to thank you for short notice and not even hesitating saying, sure, you'll do it. I appreciate you coming on tonight, brother.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. And any other thoughts from you, Jeff? We'll kick it up with you. We'll just go counterclockwise.
I'm going to just put you on the spot right now, Rob. Are you in or out? You know what I'm talking about.
I am. There's 2 ins or outs. I am in for the nearest one. I'll let you know after my visit on the 15th for the next one.
Okay.
I am in for that one, though, for sure.
All right.
That's a guarantee. All right, Seeker.
Just wanted to let you know that the next one of these that'll be on my channel will be the pre-coin show one, because we'll be leaving for the coin show in just a couple of days afterwards. So we'll probably be talking about the coin show quite a bit. It's going to be exciting, so I hope to see a lot of you guys there. Remember, that's in Grove, Oklahoma, the 25th, 6th, and 7th of this month. Me and Rob will be there. Raven, 70%. And there's some other YouTubers that said they'll be there as well. So looking forward to meeting a lot of people. I know I get a lot of chatter about it in Discord, a lot of chatter about it on the streams, on my Saturday stream. So a lot of people excited. I'm thinking it's going to be a really good one. And I know Mike from Down in Grove. He told me that he gets a lot of people coming in and talking about it because a lot of his customers watch our channels. Which that'd be really exciting as well. So
and as a piggyback to that, if you are planning on coming to that and you're not, and it's quite a drive for you, and you're only going to be there one day, I would ask that you be there Saturday. That's the day that obviously I will be available that entire day. I can't guarantee my time frame on Friday, and I can't guarantee how long I'll stay through the end of the show on Sunday, but definitely Saturday I will be available for the majority of the day.
Yep.
Raven.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, guys.
I'm just messing with you. Any final thoughts, brother, and goodbyes for tonight?
I'm hoping that I get to go to Grove and we get to do that and have some fun. I got distracted by some stuff going on in the house here. But tonight's show, great show. PlugMaster Ford, great guest. A lot of really good stories, and honestly, it would be cool to have him back again in the future.
I agree. And check out that if you're sitting in bed tonight or sitting at your computer and you're like, man, I have about an hour that I have some time to kill. Get yourself immersed and just feel the excitement and the fun of finding a silver hoard buried in the ground that you get to undig. That's really cool.
Oh, I'm going to be watching it from bed tonight.
Yeah. Oh, you'll have fun. Definitely watch the first one for sure. And you'll probably watch the second one. Then you'll be like, what? They've got an excavator? And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, what's the take? What the heck is going on here? That's kind of how I did it personally.
Next time we'll see him on Oak Island.
Yeah. That's all we got. Thank you to the 140 that stuck with us all the way to the end. This is going to end now. Thank you to the super chatters that supported the channel, and I appreciate that very much. And I think we're going to call it now. And everyone have a great night. Thanks, Plug, Raven, and Seeker. We'll see you guys on the next one.
See ya.